Welcome to meeting number 33. We have 3 items on the agenda today. We have an introduction to trillion-dollar security, a kind of a retrospective discussion on 7702, and then a discussion on calculation and standardizing base fees. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Frederick, and we can talk about trillion-dollar security.
Yeah, thanks a lot. So just to give some information about what I'm about to speak about. So the $1 trillion security initiative is this idea that we have things within the Ethereum ecosystem that has room for improvements with regards to security. It can be anything really. It could be things related to the protocol. It can be wallet UX. It could be censoring RPC endpoints. It could be concerns about privacy, or the fact that a lot of people are falling victims to various attacks and etc. This is so what we're trying to do is kind of collect information from the ecosystem about what areas they feel need some type of improvement. And when we have this information, the idea is that we will compile a report and then start working on executing these necessary changes in order to kind of improve the overall security of the Ethereum ecosystem. I guess for this call, we don't have to dive deep into the specific security concerns or thoughts that people have. If you do have any, I'm more than happy to speak about them on this call. But otherwise, it would be interesting to get your feedback in some way or another on how we can improve the overall security of Ethereum, so we can hopefully onboard billions of users. And we have a few ways of doing that. We have a form on a website on the blog, blog.ethereum.org. Or you can also schedule a short call with me and we can discuss it one-on-one if you would be open to that. I'll post the links here in the chat. If anyone do have any comments and want to discuss any or give any feedback or such at this point in this call, I think it would be very interesting to hear your views. So feel free to provide feedback.
Sure. So I kind of have a question. So what are the roles of like the EF going to be versus what you expect from, say, wallet developers or other ecosystem members?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So the EF is, in my view, the EF is acting as a coordinator here. We're collecting the feedback from various parts of the ecosystem. We have talked to a lot of different entities, such as end users, projects, developers, security people, various financial institutions, staking operations, VCs, etc., just to get this kind of overview of what people are seeing as sort of the weak points that we need to improve on. Once we have done that, like I said, we're compiling this report of this feedback and these findings. And my view is then that the EF continues to act as this kind of coordinator to kind of provide feedback. From a wallet point of view, like some of these comments that we've heard is that it's hard for a non-technical user to understand what they're signing. And maybe, part like an action point from this could be to discuss with a lot of the wallet developers around like, how can we improve this? Should there be, some type of standard around how wallets should ensure the security of the users or minimize the risks of the users, etc. I think that's the next kind of step to figure this out. So it's not the idea, in my opinion, is not that the EF should be doing everything. It's more like trying to help facilitate and provide necessary resources that might be missing. For example, might be relevant with some grants or other aspects to help improve this security.
Great, thank you. And I guess what you're looking for from wallet developers is to come on and fill out the form that you were talking about and schedule some time with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it would be super interesting to hear the insights of the wallet developers. What you perceive as the major security concerns that the Ethereum ecosystem is facing. If you have any thoughts on how that can be improved, that's great. But otherwise, feel free to just let us know about the issues themselves, and then we can work together to try to find potential solutions to these problems.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. So I guess that means we can move on to our next topic, which is talking about 7702 and how it's been going so far. How has it been going? I know some of you are from clients, some of you are from wallets. Yeah, if anybody has any insights, things to talk about, please do.
It kind of sounds like no one has any
Yeah,
opinions.
apparently.
So yeah, I kind of suggested it because I was interested in the client dev. There's some limitations that was done in the memory pool. And actually, I was kind of interested in how different wallet implementations was handling this, or if they experienced any issues. But if no one has any opinions, I guess it's not much of an issue.
Sounds like this might be a question to post in the Discord and collect some responses async.
Yeah. All right.
Go ahead, Nicholas.
Hey, I don't have like a direct feedback because I don't run a wallet, but I would have a question for MetaMask. I think 7702 is still like behind the developer site and like not directly rolled out to like the entire user base. Do you have any rough estimation or plans to share about like when would you roll this out to the greater user base? Pandan, this one is directly for you, I guess, because I guess you're the only MetaMask person here.
Joao's here as well. I don't know
Oh,
if he.
Joe. Okay, yeah.
Let's see if he's the more technical one, but
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
okay.
I can answer. Sorry, Nicholas. You were asking about when are we rolling it out to all our users? Is that it?
Yeah, what is like the plan? I think it's still behind the developer setting.
So support for 7.702 should be rolled out for everyone.
Okay.
The only thing is the first version that we've rolled out, like there was no way for a user to upgrade from within the wallet. So we were leveraging 5792 to perform like an upgrade just in time. So when a DApp, wants to submit a batch transaction, that's
Okay.
when the user will need to upgrade. So at that moment, we prompt it to the user and say, to proceed, please, confirm that you are willing to upgrade your EOA to a smart contract account. With, I think, the latest version that we are rolling out, it's already possible to upgrade from within the wallet. Like you can just go to your account details and upgrade from there, and upgrade or downgrade either way.
All right, I'm checking right now. Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's exactly what I was asking for. It's like the force upgrade button within the wallet.
Yeah, that is rolling out on the current release.
Oh, okay.
So Van Daan in the chat asked, is the question about whether we would do a mass migration?
No. Like I mean, you can't force people to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's already it's yeah.
Go ahead.
But so then it's triggered currently on this only if the DApp request. So like, are you expecting most people to like use DApp to trigger this for the first time, or like will you push this button to be the main distribution arm of 7.702? Kind of like what do you expect?
So that's hard to say. Like ideally, we would like there would be no reason to push a user to upgrade his UA unless there's a reason that will benefit the user at that moment, right? And once that moment comes, that's probably when we'll prompt him and say, to proceed, and from here onwards to get, you are going through this flow, so probably you'll benefit from a improved UX, then please do upgrade. Now, the first use case was batch transactions via dApps, but as we rolled out more and more features on top, we'll probably prompt the user, more and more times until it gets to a point where we just say, it's better if you upgrade to get an overall improved experience. It's better to just upgrade straight away. But yeah.
Okay, sounds fair. Great, thank you.
Cool. So we're joined by Light Client, or Matt, who probably has a little bit more of an update on how 7.702 is doing on mainnet. So if you want to give us a little bit of an update, that'd be very appreciated.
Hello. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that most of the wallets probably have a good idea of how it's working out for them. I can really only see right now what Dune is able to tell me. And unfortunately, because Dune doesn't have a way for us to know what the address is that authorized an account, we really only kind of know who or which wallet delegation contracts are getting delegated to right now. So I would like to have a better idea of what the total value locked is. I know that there's like some metric for total value of ETH locked. I want to say it was a couple $1 million of ETH, but that doesn't really tell you what the total value of the ERC20s are. It doesn't really tell you how many transactions these delegated accounts are using yet. So we're missing a lot of like the most important metrics, but overall it seems that 7.702 adoption is coming up. I saw MetaMask kind of overtook OKX as the top delegated contract a couple days ago. And I think that, yeah, total were a bit over 40,000 authorizations in 2 weeks. So I think overall things are pretty good, especially considering that wallets are continuing to roll this out. But yeah, if anyone has those metrics, I would be curious what the TVL, or I guess asset under management of the contracts is so far.
Do you know roughly what percentage of like new transactions are to 7702 accounts?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not really possible to determine this right now via Dune, because if you can't just look at the number of 7702 transactions, because that's only the beginning of the 7702 story. You need to know which
Yep.
account signed the authorization, and because they don't have that recovered address in their database table, we can't then go look up to see how often that account is transacting after they make the authorization.
You can't count calls into the delegate target? I don't know how Dune works.
Yeah, Dune, unfortunately, in the trace doesn't have a way to know. It doesn't expose that the 7702 proxy has really occurred. I don't know. I also tried to like look into doing something like looking through every call and then pulling up the code related to that call and seeing if there's a prefix of EF related to it. And I ran into an issue, but I'm forgetting what the issue was now, but I could try and look into it again. Yeah, if anyone has a connection at Dune that we could talk to, that would be great. I feel like this is a pretty easy thing for them to do, and I assume they're kind of aware of it, but it would be very helpful to get this sorted out in the next couple weeks. And I've talked to Kofi a little bit, and he's planning to have these stats in his website bundle bear, but as of now, it doesn't look like he has rolled any of that information out.
Cool. Well, thanks for the update, Matt. We appreciate it. And I guess on that note, is Smart Programmer 93 here by any chance? Because I know you wanted to talk about standardizing base fee calculations.
Hey, yes. So we've been looking into how wallets calculate base fees and also suggest priority fees for transactions for different chains. And we've been noticing that there is a lot of discrepancy between one wallet and another and how they implement this. Some of them actually use the RPC calls that they're supposed to use, for example, or like they directly call the RPC endpoint that for ETH fee, ETH get fee, and even for the suggested fee, and the other one, if I don't remember the exact name, let me try to get it. Yeah, so
max priority 60
yeah, so there is the ETH gas price, there is ETH fee history, and there is also ETH max priority fee per gas, right? These three endpoints supposedly should be sufficient to suggest like fees for transactions. Now, the reason I'm asking about this and talking about this is that because there are multiple L2s, calculating the base fees for these L2s is sometimes different depending on what the L2 uses, if it's using blobs, if it's using... So because the cost on the L1 varies, it's not just about congestion cost anymore. It's more related to directly injecting the cost of hosting blobs of verification proofs of these L2 blocks on chain, etc. All of this counts in as part of the cost. Now most of networks, what they do is that they sometimes tend to subsidize these costs, and that's fine. But at one point when we were trying to work on L2 transaction fees, we found ourselves in need to tell the wallet what the base fee and the priority fee should potentially be. Especially the base fee, right? The priority fee will probably more be needed for pre-confirmations in the future. But the base fee, which should basically cover partially some of the L1 posting and verification cost, it's a little bit tough. And some of the wallets actually call internal APIs, public APIs that they have, like some, and those APIs do some unknown calculation on how to get the fees. So we noticed, for example, that in MetaMask actually calls an internal API that returns this data. Rainbow actually calls an internal API also. But then this internal API, we noticed that in Rainbow, this internal API then calls the RPC to get the data from it. So if your RPC is a local machine, it won't work. But if it's a public IP address, it will work because it is accessible by the like internal API service that Rainbow is calling. For Rabby, that's not the case. Rabby directly, for example, calls the RPC endpoint and gets the data from it. So sorry for the long explanation, but my idea here is that I want to discuss why is there no like standard for how this is done and how can we make it become a standard, and how we can reach a good implementation for this.
So I think this is definitely an important issue to raise. I'm not sure if we're going to get much like synchronous feedback today. If somebody wants to talk, feel free to interrupt me, but it might be better to post like a summary in the Discord channel and we can maybe start an async discussion about it. That tends to get a little bit more response.
Sure, we'll do that. Thank you.
Cool. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about today? Otherwise, we can wrap it up. Great. Well, we'll see you all next month. Talk to you then.